aperion beam. That's what aperion beam's whole thing is that it's Twin Peaks is will to taste. It's not just will to taste, but it's the concept specifically of saying this is how Twin Peaks is saying will to taste. It's like the aperion beam is just saying that you're cutting from xzaayzyx down to Zyx, and if you're doing that, if you're shooting from God's perspective down to the human perspective, then what you're doing is you're understanding both poles, right? The poles are you, or like any conscious being, and then God, and like those two things are forced to forever fight against each other. Those are the two sides of the Great War, right? It is the things which will always be wanting a particular thing, and then the thing which will always want to be everything possible. So it's like there are the individuals, anything which wants something, a bacteria, a tree, a fucking cow, a monkey, a pig, like an interdimensional, lizard, like no matter what it is, no matter what thing exists, every single thing that exists is going to, or every individual, I should say, everything which wants something in particular, everything which has its own visible will, right, separate from its environment, is going to want a particular thought texture. It's going to desire something in particular. And with that desire for something in particular, it has strayed from the desire for infinity, everything, the desire to expand. And that's what God is. So whenever you understand that there are two different poles, there is the pole which wants to be everything and the pole which wants to be individual things, then you understand the two poles which are the two poles of reality. You understand the Twin Peaks. You understand that these two forces wage war against each other across infinity. And then with that understanding, you can understand that everything is the will to taste, because really it's not just your will or just God's will. It's that they're the same will. It's that within God's will to be everything, there must be every individual thing wanting to be just a thing, right? Like, for God to be everything, you must have the individuals that want to be a bacteria, that want to be a tree, that want their own experiences, that want to selfishly make reality monotonous and bend entirely to their will and stop being everything else, stop giving them challenges, stop giving them obstacles, and just let them exist in bliss, right? Let them exist in where they want to exist. And with that desire, right, you think there's separation. You think that there's God's will to be everything, and you think that there's your will to be something. And really, that's the same will. With God's will to be everything, there has to be you wanting to be something. And so that is what the will to taste says, is that it's all the will to taste. The will to taste necessitates both of those. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying right here. And that's also what aperion beam's saying, right? As you cut across from God to you, you're making it one will. You're cutting the poles, you're cutting through them, and you're understanding them as one pole, one force, one thing. It's not two things smashing into each other. It's a torus, right? Explaining how the seeking of differentiation of forces was just trying to explain will to taste. Essentially, you are trying to reach the feeling. Always understand how breathing is will to taste. That's true and real. I've been focusing on that lately. That's why I did the whole day spent on understanding Larry's breathing. Understand how breathing and or lack of breathing is will to taste. Power versus perfection. Left brain versus right need both. Not the concept of breathing, the lifetime translation of what it feels like. The goal is everything, but thrashing also. Is silence the goal? God, these are lots of great questions. Every single one of these would make a great video. Just these questions metaphysically. Is silence the goal? That would be a great video. Lifetime breathing and how it's related to eating everything. Lifetime breathing and how it's related to eating everything. Reaching outwards to translate as much as you can. So translate is my new way of saying you're translating experiences into God's experience of them, or you're eating them, you're consuming them, you're understanding them as perfect. Right? So translating is translating your human perspective into God's perspective. You are targeting the feeling of breathing, not the concept. Therefore, you are eating the mind itself. Big if true. And it is. A bunch of exclamation marks. And that is so true and so important. That is literally the whole concept of revelimter. That's you go so far into appreciating that you appreciate the appreciating, and then your models collapse in on themselves. And that's literally what I'm talking about here. Yeah. You begin to eat the mind itself, as I say. So eloquently put.